Hey everybody, Ron here and welcome to the Roy Family Homestead. And today, let's build something. Well everybody, as you know, if you've seen some of our other videos, we've started making homemade bread. One of the problems that we're running into with the homemade bread is trying to get even, nice slices so it's not real thick on one end, real thin on the other. By the time you get halfway through the loaf, it's shaped like this. So I looked around at the electric slicers, the little manual slicers, I guess. It's got little slots in it. They've got the bamboo one, which is real pretty. It's real fancy looking, but it's $87. And I've said this a bunch of times. As y'all know, I don't throw anything away. So when I was building a deep hive box for our bees, I had an extra piece of wood left over. So I looked around, like I said, and kept looking at the different designs and everything. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try building one. I mean, this is gonna cost me a couple of nails. The wood is scrap, basically is what I had left over. So this is virtually gonna be free. A little bit of wood glue and some mineral oil to put on it, you know, to seal all the wood in and everything. And that'll be it, guys. So let's get started. Basically, I've kind of come up with my own measurements and everything. Got everything wrote down. Well, basically, the bottom of the board is going to be 10 inches by 5 3/4 inches. That'll be the base. The back part is going to, you know, is of course going to be on the back. I'm going to make it 7 3/16 by 5 inches. It's going to be a little bit shorter than the overall height of the bread slicer, so that you can put your hand there, you know, and push the bread back if you need to. The sides are going to be 10 inches wide, so a whole loaf of bread will fit in there, and 6 inches tall. So if like one of my other videos, I made some white sandwich bread. I don't know if I proofed it too long or what happened, but when it baked, it was this thick. So it was too tall to go in the prototype bread slicer that I had built before. And the slots on this thing are 9/16 of an inch thick. Basically what I did is I actually took a piece of bread and I measured it to see how thick the slices were. So I'm going to cut my slots at 9/16 of an inch on my table saw here. Now, one thing about with the table saw, or if you know anything about the saw blades, when it cuts, it's going to cut more to the top part of the cut. Or I'm sorry, it's going to cut less to the top part and more is going to cut underneath. So and normally you would only raise your blade just a little bit, maybe 20% taller than the thickness of your wood, so it'll cut smooth and won't create as much sawdust and all that good stuff. But in this case, because I want that, that final cutter down at the bottom of that cut, I want it as close to the same in the front and the back so that it doesn't weaken the wood. So I'm going to raise that blade up as high as it'll go so that I can, you know, get more of a straight cut. So anyway, I've already pre-marked my my bottom piece, and we're going to get cutting on it. All right, everybody, I've already got my table saw set at 5 3/4. We'll go ahead and make our first cut. Guys, remember, safety first. Now we're ready. Let's see what we got here. 5 3/4 on the dot. And then our next cut's going to be 10 inches. This is a 1 by 12 piece of pine. And so let's set this on 10 inches here. All right. And my legs are crooked on this thing. There we go, that's better. All right, so let's make our cut. Check that measurement here real quick. 10 inches on the dot. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get these other pieces cut to the dimensions they need to be, and then I'm going to come back here and show you how we're cutting those 9/16 inch slots. All right, everybody, I've got my pieces cut now. I did add a 45-degree angle. This is the side, and then the slots are going to go right in here on both sides. So I just did a little decorative cut. That way you can kind of handle the bread a little bit better also. But anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut these slots in here. I'm going to take them down to the thickness of the wood, which is, it's going to set like this. So I'm going to take it just slightly past, you know, the thickness here, so it'll be clear, so we'll have a smooth surface when we're cutting. Now I did build a prototype. I did a video on it, but I didn't post it, and I kind of learned the hard way. When cutting these, you don't want to start with your first cut closest and then work your way out, because what happens is as you cut these slots, you're basically adding a relief, and then when you're trying to push this up against here to line it up, it starts doing like an accordion effect. Everything, it all wants to kind of squish in, so your cuts start getting crooked. So you want to start out at your furthest cut and then work your way towards the back. That way you've got a good solid piece of wood to cut as you're going. And basically all I did is I started out at 9/16. I kept adding 9/16 till I got to 7 cuts. That's how wide this board is going to allow me to do 7 cuts of bread, which is kind of an odd number, but you know, that's what I've got. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. Maybe cut the first one for you and show you. So here we go. So the first cut is going to be at 3 15/16. So we're going to set this right on 3 15/16. And I'm going to cut this one, then I'm going to cut this one. That way I'm not readjusting, and so that the slots will be nice and you know, parallel with each other. Here we go. Can't do it without turning the power on. It's the bad thing about working. My shop is such a mess. I can't get all these tools in here and try to work at the same time. So it's a nice breezy day. I'm in the shade, so we're good. So here we go, guys. It's going to get loud, and I will mute this part in the video. All right, guys, there's our first cut. Basically, you do this times 2, and I want you to see this. See how this moves? If you started cutting over here and moving it in, by the time you got into here, it'd be like an accordion. So now, as you can see, it's cut to the end here. I don't know how well you can see that, but see how far it came down here? But I've got the blade high enough that I think that's left enough wood to keep it nice and secure. So I'm going to go ahead and get these slots finished cutting, and then I'll get back with you. All right, everybody, I've got my slots cut in my wood. I'll show you here. See, there's the slots. Should work perfectly. I know the prototype that I did, it worked, you know, really well. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing put together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, and let me show you real quick exactly what it looks like. Basically, the piece will go here. This is the back piece. You know, I'm going to do, you know, I'm going to round off the edges and all that stuff and make it look real pretty. But see, there it is. That's my bread slicer. Like I said, I'm going to use some staples with my air nailer, a little bit of wood glue. When I get it done, get it all sanded down, I'll get back with you guys. Well, all right, everybody, here it is. This is my DIY bread slicer. Turned out pretty good, but it seems like everything I build, I have a little, I don't know what do you call it, a little character added to my builds. I did put a little nick in the top of one of the slots here, but for the most part, I think it turned out real good. I'm going to get a little bit closer here so you can see. Now, basically, that's it. You line your blade up. You put your bread in here, push it up against the back, line your blade up, and then just cut it. Now, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slices out of this. I could have went ahead and got 8, so it'd be an even number, but you know, it looks good like this. These top pieces are good and sturdy. Got everything nailed and glued in place. I'm going to put a little bit of mineral oil on this to seal the wood in real good. But I do want to go in and actually do a test cut. So let's go inside, do a couple of test cuts. I don't think we have any white bread left. We've eaten it all up, but my wonderful wife, Miss Penny, has made some zucchini bread. So I think we'll go in there and slice a couple of pieces of that. All right, everybody. Like I said before, we're out of the sandwich bread, but Miss Penny made some awesome zucchini bread, so we're going to cut it. So basically, this is all you do. You just slide it in here, butt it up against the end, take your knife in there, and then just slice. And it's lunchtime, so you know what I'm having for lunch. But look at that. Look how pretty that slice is. That's perfect sandwich thickness. And then, like I said, you can either do one slice at a time or push it up there. And if you want to make 2 or 3 sandwiches, you just keep slicing until you get the amount of slices that you want. All right, guys, there it is. There's our DIY bread slicer. Works great. Put me a little mineral oil on it to seal this wood in, and we'll be good to go. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, y'all have a great day.